Can anyone please unmute yourself and let me know that whether my slides are visible or not?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Visual.
Thank you. So, good morning to all of you. So, let us start the class from where we have left behind in the last class. If you remember, in the last class, we have did the very first engineering curve, that was cycloid. In today's class, we will discuss the two more types of engineering curves, and those curves are epicycloid and hypocycloid. I repeat, in today's class we will discuss two more types of curves, and those curves are epicycloid, EPICYCLOID, and hypocycloid, HYPOCYCLOID. So start before going to start the construction part of these curves, first let us understand what is an epicycloid. What is an epicycloid? Okay. If you remember, in the last class, I have told you that how you can get a cycloid. If you are having a circle, if you roll that circle for one complete rotation, that is 360-degree, on a fixed straight line, then the curve which you will get, that curve will be your cycloid. In epicycloid, if you want to get an epicycloid, what you need to do? In order to get an epicycloid, you want only two circles. I repeat, if you want
Excuse
to.
me, sir.
Yes,
Sir, can you please repeat? Your voice was cracking.
I'm telling you. Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now
Yes,
audible.
yes.
Okay. So, if you remember in the last class when I told you about cycloid, what I told that what is a cycloid? Cycloid is a curve which you get when you roll a circle for one complete rotation on a fixed horizontal, on a fixed straight line. The curve that we get is my cycloid. So, what is epicycloid? In order to get an epicycloid, you need two circles. I repeat, in order to get an epicycloid, you need two circles. One circle will be of larger diameter, another circle will be of smaller diameter. If you combine these two circles, then you will get an epicycloid. How I will get? The very first step is, first you draw the bigger circle with the help of given center, with the help of given radius or diameter. You just draw a bigger circle. You just draw a bigger circle. So this is my bigger circle. Okay, this is the center point of my bigger circle. Let us assume that this is the center line, this is the radius line of that bigger circle. Okay, so now see, I'm defining what is an epicycloid. Epicycloid is a gear teeth profile which you will get when you roll the smaller circle on the outer periphery of the bigger circle for one complete rotation. I repeat, epicycloid is an engineering curve which you will get when you roll the smaller circle, when you roll the smaller circle on the outer periphery of the bigger circle for one complete rotation. That curve is your epicycloid. Is the definition clear? Is the definition clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let us see how I can roll the smaller circle on the outer periphery of the bigger circle. This is my bigger circle and this is the radius of the bigger circle. So if I extend this radius line, let us extend this radius line. Fine. Now what I am telling you, that you will get an epicycloid when you roll the smaller circle on the outer periphery of the bigger circle. So this is your smaller circle. On that same center line, this is the center line passing through the center point of the bigger circle, just extend that center line outward. Fine. Then in the given problem, smaller circle radius or diameter will be given to you. You take that much radius in your compass, place your compass, say that radius is 25. Fine. So on this extended radius line, from this point you measure 25, say this is that point, then place one leg of your compass at this center point, say C dash. Fine. And radius equal to this much length, say this point is your P point. C dash P is the radius of the smaller circle and CP is the radius of the bigger circle. So you take C dash P length in your compass, place your compass at C dash point and draw that smaller circle. This is the way how I can draw a smaller circle which is placed on the outer periphery of the bigger circle. Is it clear so far? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay.
No doubt.
So
Okay.
now remember one thing, if you want to get an epicycloid, remember one thing, this bigger circle is always fixed. This bigger circle is always fixed and this smaller circle rotates for one complete rotation. Then only you will get one epicycloidal teeth profile. For second rotation of the circle, you will get the second teeth profile. For third rotation of the smaller circle, you will get the third teeth profile. Fine. So now this smaller circle can rotate either in clockwise manner or it can rotate in anti-clockwise manner or it can rotate in anti-clockwise manner. If nothing is given about the rotation of the circle, I will assume that the smaller circle is rotating in clockwise manner. Fine. Okay. Now there are some technical names of these circles. If you want, you may note it down. This bigger circle, we call this bigger circle as directing circle. The name of the bigger circle is directing circle, DIRECTING, directing circle. And the name of the smaller circle is rolling circle, ROLLING, rolling circle or generating circle. Rolling circle or generating circle, because the smaller circle is rolling on the outer periphery of the bigger circle, and due to the rotation of the smaller circle I am getting an epicycloidal teeth profile. So that's why the name of the smaller circle is your rolling circle or generating circle, and the name of the bigger circle is your directing circle. Is it clear so far? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So
No, sir.
fine. So what I am telling, that if you want to get an epicycloid, you have to roll this smaller circle on the outer periphery of the bigger circle for one complete rotation. That means 360-degree. When this smaller circle is rotating 360-degree completely, then you will get one epicycloidal teeth profile. Let us assume that after time t equal to 10 seconds, the smaller circle has rotated by 360-degree rotation. That means the position of the smaller circle is this position. The same is the case with your cycloid, because when I was explaining you about cycloid, I was telling you that after each interval of time the position of the circle will change. Here also the position of the circle will change, but in this case the position of the circle is changing by some angle, fine. So say this is the case when at time t equal to 0 second, and this is the case at time t equal to 10th second. Fine. Then you can see that there is a sector is forming. This is a sector. This is a sector. You are getting a sector kind of thing over here. Fine. This sector, subtended angle of this sector is nothing but theta. Subtended angle of this sector is nothing but theta, and this theta you have to determine before drawing the epicycloid. And this theta is how much? This theta is given by, since I know that The overall circumference of the bigger circle is how much? It is my 2 pi r, 2 pi say capital R, and the overall circumference of the smaller circle is how much? 2 pi small r, where small r is the radius of the smaller circle, 2 pi small r. Fine. And since the smaller circle is rotating for one complete rotation, that means 360 degree, so multiply this ratio with 360 degree, then you will get the value of theta. 2 pi cancel, finally theta becomes small r by capital R into 360 degree, or you can write theta is equal to small d by capital D into 360 degree. So this is the expression by which you have to first calculate theta. Am I clear so far? Any doubt? Any doubt? Hello.
No.
Okay.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Once
No,
you
sir.
once you get the value of theta, then you can draw this sector. Once you draw this sector, you can draw this circle also. Fine. Now let us assume that at time t equal to, now see, the intersection point of the smaller circle and the bigger circle is nothing but the first locus point of my epicycloid, which is P, capital P. Now let us assume that at time t equal to 1 second, this is the position of the circle. At time t equal to 1 second, this is the position of the circle. If this is the position of the circle, now the center point of the new smaller circle will be along the same central line. Now this is the center line of the smaller circle for one complete rotation. Okay, this is the center line of the smaller circle for one complete rotation. So all the center point of all the circle, when the smaller circle has rotated to 360 degree, it will lie on that common center line. Let us assume that this is the new center point, say C1 of this particular circle. Fine. So now can you guess where will be the point P? Whether that point P will be exactly on the same point in the initial case, or it will change? Or it will change?
It
Same.
will change.
How it will be same? You are rotating the smaller circle in clockwise direction. So when you are rotating smaller circle in clockwise direction, the point P will not be the same point. Say this is that point P. This is that point P. It's a new point P1. New point P1. Fine. Okay. Similarly, again if you rotate your circle, because 360 divided by 8, 45. If you rotate your circle by 45 degree 8 times, then theta will be 360 degree. So this is the case when you have rotated this smaller circle by 45 degree. Next case, at time t equal to 2 second, when you have further rotated the smaller circle by theta equal to 45 degree, that means overall theta is now 45 plus 45, that is 90 degree. This is the new center point of the circle, say C2. Now will the point P1 the same point, or it has changed? Will the point P1 will,
Changed, sir.
it has changed. So let us assume that this is that point. Let us assume that this is that point P2. And see, all these points you will be marking in clockwise direction. Why? Because I am rotating the smaller circle in clockwise direction. Now you can mark this P on this side also, but why I am not marking on the right hand side of the smaller circle? Because if you mark on the right hand side, then it will be in anti-clockwise direction and you will get a wrong curve. If the smaller circle is rotating in clockwise direction, every time you have to mark all these P1, P2, P3 points in clockwise direction. If the smaller circle is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, then you have to mark these points in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so this is your point P2. Likewise, if you rotate the entire smaller circle for 360 degree, this is the final position of the circle and this is the center point of the circle, say C8. Now can you locate that locus point P? Can you locate the position of that locus point P? Please tell me where will be that point P?
No, on the circumference of the bigger circle.
On the circumference of the bigger circle. That means exactly at this particular point. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes, sir.
this is your point number P8. Fine. So now if I join all these locus points, How I will join? I have to use French curve. I cannot use scale because these are some curved kind of points. So if you join all these locus points by the help of proper French curve, you will get a curve like this. You will get a curve like this, and this curve is your epicycloid. This curve is known as your epicycloid for one complete rotation of the circle. For the next 360-degree rotation of the circle, you will get the second epicycloidal teeth profile. For the third 360-degree rotation of the circle, you will get the next epicycloidal teeth profile, and likewise. So this is the way how you can get the epicycloidal profile. Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So this was the concept related to how I can get an epicycloidal teeth profile. Now let us see the steps of construction, how I can generate this epicycloid step by step. Let me erase everything. Okay. So the very first step is, see, in the given problem, it will not be given to you directly that draw an epicycloid. How the question will be? The question will be in that manner that draw the locus of a point on the periphery of a circle which is rolling outside the directing circle. Then from this line you have to understand that this is a problem of epicycloid. Okay. So in order to generate an epicycloid, I need the radius of the directing circle, I need the radius of the rolling circle. So it is given in the problem that the diameter of rolling circle is 50 mm and the radius of the directing circle, that is curved path, is 75 mm. So you take this much length in your 75 mm means 7.5 centimeter. If I scale it up, it will be 7.5 centimeter. So take that much length in your compass, place your compass anywhere in the drawing sheet, and just draw an arc of the directing circle. I will not draw the full directing circle, I will just draw an arc of this directing circle. Okay, is it clear so far? Capital R is the radius of your directing circle. Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now next step is what? I have to extend this radius line because I know that I will get an epicycloid if the smaller circle, which is rolling circle, rotates on the outer periphery of the bigger circle. So just extend this radius line outward. Once you extend, so this is my directing circle. Once you extend this line, that means which line? This particular line. Just extend this line. Fine. You know that the radius of the diameter of the rolling circle is 50 mm. So radius will be 50 by 2, 25 mm. Take that much length in your compass. Place your compass at the intersecting point, and on that extended radius line, just cut an arc. Then this point will be the center point of your rolling circle. Now take this much length in your compass, place your compass at this center point and draw this circle. Then you can get this rolling circle. Is it clear? Any doubt so far?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is my rolling circle or generating circle. Okay, since nothing has been given in the problem, so I am assuming the rotation of the rolling circle in clockwise direction. Okay, next. So now if you remember, when I was discussing the cycloid part, I told you that if you want to get a cycloid, fine, minimum you have to divide your circle into 8 number of equal parts, then only 8 different center points you will get. Similarly, if you want to get a good epicycloidal teeth profile, you have to divide your rolling circle again into minimum 8 number of equal part. What is the aim of, or what is the procedure behind doing this? Because if I divide my rolling circle into 8 number of equal parts, then I will get 8 different center points for the different position of the rolling circle when it is rotated by some angle, say at theta equal to 45 degree, the center point of the rolling circle will be C1. Again, if you rotate your rolling circle by theta equal to 45 degree more, you will get the second center point C2. So that's why I am dividing the entire rolling circle into 8 number of equal parts. Any doubt? Any doubt so far?
No.
Okay. Next is the naming of all the points. So since the rolling circle is rotating in clockwise direction, so the naming of the circle will also be in clockwise direction. First point, second point, third point, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and obviously this intersecting point is nothing but the eighth point or the first locus point of your epicycloidal curve, that is point number P. Any doubt in the naming part of the rolling circle?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Next step is what? Now, yes, this is what radius of the rolling circle, which is CP. Now, I have told you that this rolling circle is rotating for a 360-degree rotation. Let us assume that when it has rotated completely 360-degree, the new position of the rolling circle is this point. That means I will get some value of theta. I will get some value of theta. Fine. So first of all, I have to, because between this rolling circle and this rolling circle, here I will get one complete epicycloidal teeth profile. So for that I need to evaluate the value of theta. Theta I know it is what? Small r by capital R into 360 degree, or small d by capital D into 360 degree. So let us evaluate firstly what is my theta. So this theta is small r by capital R into 360. So small r is my 25 mm, divided by capital R is 75 mm. 25 divided by 75 into 360 degree. Please calculate it and tell me what value of theta you are getting.
120 degree.
120.
120 degree. That means then what you will do, you will take your protector, you will align your protector with this particular line, and just draw an 120 degree line. Just draw an infinitely long 120 degree line. Okay, so this is the angle subtended by this smaller circle over this bigger circle, and this is the sector you are getting. Any doubt so far? Any doubt so
No.
far? Okay, so next step is what? Next step is again you take your compass, and the distance which you measure from your compass is 024. Measure this much length in your compass, keep your compass at center point O, and complete this arc. Complete this arc point till where you will go, till this 120 degree line, and complete this arc. Fine. And the remaining this line, now you can erase this line by the help of your eraser. Now this is your sector which you are getting completely. Okay, any doubt so far? Hello.
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay.
Fine. Okay, now within this envelope, you will get your epicycloid. That means boundary of the epicycloid is now within this envelope you will get your epicycloid like this. Why I have drawn this topmost curved line? This will be my boundary of my epicycloid. That means epicycloid cannot cross this boundary. So that's why I have drawn this O4 curved line. Okay, any doubt? Hello, any doubt
No,
so
sir.
far?
No,
No, sir.
Fine. Okay, so now see, you have divided your rolling circle into 8 number of equal parts. After some interval of time, say the rolling circle at this point, again after some interval of time, say rolling circle is at this point. So each and every rolling circle will have some center line, will have some common central line. How you will get that center line? For that, what you do, you take your compass and measure length OC. Measure length OC. Place your compass at point O. Distance is OC. Just draw an curved line like this. And this curved line is what? This is your central line. Central line of your rolling circle after each and every interval of time when the circle has rotated by some angle. Am I clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So just construct this arc line. Once it is done, then you know that on this, say the position of this rolling circle after certain interval of time is this point. Then you know that this will be your center point of this rolling circle, C1. Similarly, this will be your center point of the second rolling circle, C2. Likewise, this will be the center point of your final rolling circle, that is C8. You have to mark those center points, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. But how to mark those center points? How to mark those center point? This is the question. How to mark those center points? In order to mark those center points, what you need to do, now you have to divide this sector. Which sector? You have to divide this sector, that means this particular sector, this particular sector again into equal number of parts. How many parts I will divide? Since I have divided my rolling circle into 8 number of equal parts, again I will divide my sector theta into 8 number of equal parts. Into 8 number of equal parts. Okay. So can you tell me how you can divide a sector into 8 number of equal parts? Or what is the procedure to divide a sector into 8 number of equal parts? Tell me the step. This you have did in your earlier classes. In your class 8, 9, 10th you have did. How to divide a sector into 8 number of equal parts? Or into any number of equal parts. Okay, forget 8. Into any number of equal parts. How I can divide?
Total area by number of parts.
You have to divide it physically. Don't say mathematically, because you have to use some geometrical instruments and you have to
Sir,
divide.
using compass.
Using protector.
Okay, that means
120
for
divided by 8.
okay, understood. It is 120 degree divided by 8. Then by the help of protector you can divide. Okay, fine. But if that value, now here it is, so 120 by 8 is how much?
So we can do it by drawing parallel lines on the sector.
That I am coming to it. Just you tell me what is 120 by 8. What is the value you are getting? 120 by 8.
15.
15 degree.
15.
Very good.
15.
Okay, 15 degree. So what you will do? You will align your protector firstly with this line. You can draw a 15 degree angle line like this. Then you align your protector with this particular line. You draw a 15 degree angle like this. Likewise, you can divide this entire sector into 8 number of equal parts. Very good. But if this ratio, comes out to be say 15.14 degree, then can you use protector to divide this sector into 8 number of equal part? Can you use protector to divide this sector into 8 number of equal part? If it is a say if it is integer value, 15 degree, 16 degree, 20 degree, 25 degree, with the protector easily I can do it. But if the value is in decimal, 15.1 degree, 20.4 degree, 20.64 degree, then can you use protector to divide your sector into some equal number of parts?
No, sir.
I cannot
Sir,
do it.
sir, we can use compass by
Yes,
placing it
that
in the
is
extreme left
so
and by bisecting in the middle.
That is
And
what.
again,
Yes, I'm coming to it. I'm coming to it. For that, so always remember, don't use this protector method, because obviously in exam I will give a value such that this when you divide this theta into 8 number of equal part, it will not be a whole number value. Fine. So that's why I'm telling you, don't use this protector method. You use the compass method. How I will divide? You take your compass, and the length of the compass is more than half length. Place your compass at point O and just cut an arc like this. Okay. Now place one leg of your compass at this point, cut an arc. Place other leg of your compass at this point, cut an arc. Now join this arc point with the center point O. Now you can see that you have divided your sector into two parts. Yes or no? Yes or
yes,
no?
sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
So if you divide,
One fourth is sir.
sorry,
Sir, please show again.
okay. This is my complete sector theta. I will take my compass. I will take the length of the compass more than the half length. Fine. And just cut an arc on this sector theta. This is that arc. Now place one leg of your compass at this point. Cut an arc. Place second leg of your compass at this point. Cut an arc. Now join this point with the center point O of the sector. Now you can see that you have divided your sector into two halves. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
if
sir.
I divide these two halves again individually, I will get four more halves. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if I
Yes, sir.
divide this particular sector, if I divide this particular sector again by that same process, again I will cut an arc like this. I will place my compass at this point. I will cut an arc. I will place my compass at this point. I will cut an arc. Now join it with the center point of this compass O. Fine. Now it is 1, 2. Similarly, divide this particular arc again by that same process. Again you will get 2. Now see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you divide each of the part, again if you divide this particular sector into 2, this particular sector into 2, this particular sector into 2, or bisect this particular sector, can you get 8 parts? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Again if I bisect this particular
Yes, sir.
sector, I am getting like this. Again if I bisect this particular sector, I am getting, this is the bisected length. Again if I bisect this sector, and again if I bisect this particular sector, now check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So always use this method to bisect your complete sector into 8 number of equal part. So just do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is that center line already we have drawn. Now see, the intersection point of this central line and the first bisected sector line, that means this point, that means this point, this will be your center point C1 of the second circle. This will be center point C2 of the third circle, center point C3 of the fourth circle. Likewise, if you do, this will be the center point C8 of the eighth circle. Am
Sir, how we have to draw the center line?
I take distance OC in your compass. Place your compass at point O. Distance is OC. Just draw this curved line. And this curved line is intersecting your bisected sector line. That particular point will be your center point for the new rolling circle. This will be center point C1, center point C2, center point C3. Likewise, this will be center point C8. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is center point C1. So let us mark those points. Okay, let me do all these things later on. Let us mark those points C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. Fine. So next step is, now see, in order to get the different locus points, again you have to do one small construction. That construction is already see O4 arc line we have drawn. You have to draw the arc line passing through O3 and O5 points, O2 and O6 point, O1 and O7 point. How? Take your compass, measure O23, either O3 or O5. Fine, and just complete this arc line. Similarly, measure either O2 or O6. Complete this curved line. Measure O1 and O7. Complete this curved line. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the requisite construction which we require in order to draw an epicycloid is done. Next step is very much important. Listen to it very carefully. Otherwise, you won't get an epicycloid. The step is take your compass. Take your compass. The length of the compass is always fixed throughout the process, and that length is equal to the radius of the rolling circle, that is CP. Okay, already you got the first locus point. You want to get the second locus point. That means second locus point will be corresponding to the second circle. For the second circle, center point is C1. Compass length is CP. Place your that compass length CP at center point C1 and cut an arc on the curve line passing through point number 1. That curved line passing through point number 1 is, this is that curved line passing through point number 1. CP distance I will take in my compass. I will place that compass at point C1. I will cut an arc. This is your second locus point of your epicycloid. Now you will ask me that, sir, I can cut this arc point over here also. No, I will not cut arc point over here. Why? Because I have to cut all these arc point in clockwise manner, because my rolling circle is rotating clockwise. If you cut this arc point over here, that means you are taking the anti-clockwise direction. You will get the wrong epicycloid. Am I clear how I have cut the first arc point?
So can you repeat this one?
Okay, I can repeat. I am repeating this one. Fine. See, let me erase each and everything.
Sir, you told that first is the take your that is the length of the compass is equal to
I am again
is equal
repeating.
to
I am again repeating. Listen to it carefully. Okay.
okay.
Point P is the first locus point of the epicycloid. Now, corresponding to all the different center points C1, C2, C3, C4, I will get different locus points of epicycloid. Now, remember one thing, for the entire process, in order to mark those points P1, P2, P3, P4, length of the compass is always fixed, and that length is equal to the radius of the rolling circle, that is CP. Radius of the rolling circle, that is fixed. You take that much length. Fine. Now you want the second locus point corresponding to center point C1. How you will mark? First, identify, since you are talking about C1, C suffix 1, you identify this one from your circle. This is that one. Then identify the curved line passing through this point number 1. This is that curved line passing through point number 1. Your compass length is CP. Place your compass at center point C1, and on this first curved line, just cut an arc point. So this point will be your P1 point, that is second locus point of your epicycloid. Now you can ask me that, sir, I can cut this point over here also. No, I will not cut this point over here. Why? Because I am taking the clockwise rotation of the rolling circle. If you take the anti-clockwise rotation, then you can cut this arc point over here. But since you are taking the clockwise rotation, you have to cut all the arc points in clockwise manner. Then only you will get the correct epicycloid. Is it clear? So this point is the second locus point of your epicycloid, which is point P1. Any doubt?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. Now next I have to represent, now I have to get the third locus point, that is P2, corresponding to center point C2. Length of the compass is fixed, that is CP. So place that length, or place that length on C2, keep that length, or that leg length on C2. And since you are talking about C suffix 2, identify second point from your rolling circle. And this is the second locus line. This is the second locus, this is the second arc line passing through that point C2. Okay, cut an arc, cut an arc in clockwise direction, cut an arc in clockwise direction. So this is your point, third locus point of your epicycloid, that is P3. Okay, and you do the same process for all other points. Similarly for C3, I will cut that arc point on this third line, on this third curved line, on this third curved line. Okay, so let us do it. This will be your C3. For C4, I have to cut that point on the fourth curved line. Fine. Similarly, for C5, I have to cut on the fifth curved line. Now you cannot cut this point on this side, because if you cut on this side, you will get the wrong epicycloid, because you are cutting in anti-clockwise direction, which is wrong. Similarly, for sixth point, you have to cut on the sixth curved line, that is that point. Similarly, for the seventh locus point, you have to cut on the seventh arc line, this is that point. Similarly, for the eighth locus point, you have to cut on the initial curved directing circle line, that is your dark color curved directing circle line, and this is this particular points. Now let us mark these points: P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8. P7, P7, P8. Now you have to use proper, now French curve, you have to use proper French curve to join all these locus points. Once you join these locus points, you will get a curve like this, and this curve is your epicycloid when the smaller circle, that is rolling circle, has rotated for one complete revolution on the periphery of the bigger circle. Any doubt so far? This is the geometrical construction of epicycloid.
So if it is divided into 9 parts, then what is our center point?
No, you cannot do like this. Then you will get a wrong type of epicycloid. Either you divide it into 8 number of parts, or you divide it into 12 number of parts like this. You won't get, then you won't get that curve. So you have to divide your circle like this. Better remember one thing in mind:
Even numbers.
minimum you have to divide it into 8 number of equal part. After 8, you have to go for 12, and so on.
Okay, sir.
Is it clear? The construction of epicycloidal curve. Any doubt? Any doubt in the construction of epicycloidal curve?
No, sir.
So the line for C1 and C7 is same.
Sorry, again, please repeat your question.
So the cut for the point C1 and C7 is same.
Yes, 1 and 7 are at same centers. If you take your compass, C1 and C7 is same arc line. Similarly, C2 and C6 is same curved line. C3 and C5 is same curved line, and this is your this is your O4 curved line. O1 and O7 is same. O2 and O6 is same. O3 and O5 is same, and O4 is this curved line. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt in the construction part of this epicycloid? So this is your final epicycloid. And regarding the use of pencils, the calculation part you have to do with HB pencil, that too in block capital letter before the start of the problem, and the final curve which you are getting, that is epicycloid, that will be drawn by HB pencil. In order to draw this epicycloid, you are doing many internal constructions. All those things you have to draw with either H or 2H pencils. Okay.
So we have to draw 8 circles in each center.
No need to draw that 8 circle. Only draw this first circle, and this circle also
Okay,
no
sir.
need to draw, or else it will be that your diagram will not look good. Fine. Only draw this
Okay, sir.
only because already you are getting the points P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. No need to draw these circles. Only draw this first circle. Fine. And then after that, do the entire construction, and finally you draw this epicycloid. But remember one thing regarding the use of pencils: the final epicycloid will be drawn with HB pencil, and remaining all other things you have to draw with either H or the 2H pencils, the lightest one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next I will discuss the construction. I will take 10 more minutes. Fine. The construction part of hypocycloid. Hypocycloid is exactly the reverse case of epicycloid. In hypocycloid, the rolling circle rotates in anti-clockwise direction inside the periphery of the bigger circle. I repeat, hypocycloid is just the reverse case of epicycloid. Fine, is just the reverse case of epicycloid. In hypocycloid, this rolling circle rotates inside the periphery of this bigger circle and in anti-clockwise direction. Remaining all the processes are same. So in this case, you will get a curve like this. You will get a curve like this. For hypocycloid, you will get a curve like this. Fine. The only difference is in epicycloid, this rolling circle rotates on the outermost periphery of the bigger circle in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. If it is in clockwise, you are getting a curve like this. If it is anti-clockwise, you will get a curve like this. But for hypocycloid, this rolling circle rotates inside the periphery of the bigger circle in anti-clockwise direction. Remaining all the processes are same, and you will get a curve like this. This is your hypocycloid. So quickly I am showing you the construction part. Fine. Theta is also same, small r by capital R into 360 degree. So first step is you have to draw the directing circle curved line. Once it is drawn, then draw the rolling circle. Fine. But this time the rolling circle will be inside the will roll inside the outer most periphery of the bigger circle, that too in anti-clockwise direction. Fine. Center point C. This is your sector. Angle subtended by this sector is theta, which I know, that is small r by capital R into 360 or small d by capital D into 360. But remember one thing, whenever you are calculating this theta, read the problem carefully. What they do in the problem is that they give the value of sometimes this sometimes they give directing circle diameter, and sometimes they give small circle radius. So if you directly put that value and get the value of theta, it will be wrong. So either this formula, you have to solve this formula either by taking radius for both the smaller as well as bigger circle, or by taking the diameter value. That means this formula of theta is either small r by capital R into 360 degree or small d by capital D into 360 degree. Okay. So this is your theta. Fine. Next step is, okay, firstly they have divided this entire sector into 8 number of equal part by bisection method. Fine. Okay. Next step is draw that central line. How you will draw? You have to take the distance OC in your compass and just complete this arc. Intersection point of the central line and those bisection curved line on your sector sector is your the central points C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. Fine. So these are those points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But remember, in this case, the naming of the rolling circle will be in anti-clockwise direction. Remember, in epicycloidal case, I was doing the nomenclature in clockwise direction, but in this hypocycloidal case, I will do the nomenclature in the anti-clockwise direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fine. Next. So already I got the first locus point of my hypocycloid, that is my point number P. I need to get the second locus point. So second locus point will be corresponding to center point C1, which is P1. How I will get? So I know that the length of the compass is always fixed, which is nothing but the radius of this circle, the smaller circle. Fine. So place that length at point C1, and you have to cut on which arc line. Since you are talking about C1, identify the first point from your rolling circle, then identify that curved line passing through point 1, which is nothing but that 1 7 curved line, and just cut an arc on that 1 7 curved line. Just cut an arc. Now you will say that, sir, I will cut an arc on this side also. No, if you cut an arc on this side, that means you are coming in anti-clockwise direction, but here the circle is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. So always remember, you have to cut all these arc points in anti-clockwise fashion, not in clockwise fashion. So you cannot cut for this C1 arc point over here. You have to cut an arc point over here, because you have to go like this, not like this. Okay. So this is your first point P1. For second locus point P2, I will put that same length of the compass, that is CP, on the second center point, that is C2. Then I have to identify the second curved line passing through that rolling circle, which is nothing but the 2/6 line, and on that 2/6 line, just cut an arc point. So this is your P2. Likewise, if you do the entire process, this will be your P3, P4, P5, P6, P7. Finally, you will get the last locus point at the periphery of the directing circle. Again, you use the proper French curve and join all these locus points. Once you join all these locus points, the final curve which you will get, this is your hypocycloid. The only difference is, for epicycloid, smaller circle rotates on the outer periphery of the bigger circle, and for hypocycloids, the smaller circle rotates in anti-clockwise direction inside the periphery of the bigger circle. Is it clear? Any doubts in this hypocycloidal part?
No, sir.
Okay. Again, for the use of pencils, calculation part, you have to do with HB pencil, that too in bold capital letters. The final hypocycloidal curve, you have to join it by HB pencil. In order to draw this hypocycloid, many internal constructions you are doing, you have to do it with your H and H2H pencils. Okay. The last part left is how to draw a tangent and normal to this epicycloid and hypocycloid, because in all the problems you have to draw a tangent and normal also, and the process of drawing tangent and normal is same for both epicycloid as well as for hypocycloid. So I am showing it for epicycloid. You can do it for hypocycloid in the same manner. Okay. So quickly let me show you the tangent and normal part. Fine. So finally, I know that this is my final epicycloidal curve profile. On this epicycloidal curve profile, at any particular point, I want to draw a tangent and normal. How I will draw? Let us assume that this point of the curve, this is a point of the curve called M. Through this point, my tangent will also pass, as well as my normal will also pass. How it will pass? So first identify that point. This is that point. It is up to you. You can choose this point over here, over here, over here, but it should be on the periphery of the curve. It should be on the periphery of the curve. Fine. Next is take your compass, measure the radius of the rolling circle, which is nothing but your CP. Now place that compass length at point M from where you need to draw your tangent and normal. Place that compass length at point M from where you need to draw your tangent and normal. Fine. And then cut an arc on the central line. That means which central line? In which your C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8 is lying. On that central line, just cut an arc. This is that arc. This is that distance which is C into P. Just cut an arc.
So,
Yes.
can you repeat that?
Okay. Again, I am repeating. I take any point on the periphery of the curve. Say that point is nothing but point M. Now you have to take your compass. Length of the compass will be the radius of the circle, which is nothing but CP. Take that much length in your compass. Keep your compass at point M, one leg of your compass at point M, and cut an arc on the central line. Which central line? Your C, C1, C2, C3, C4. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Okay. C, C1, C2, C3, C4. This is that central line. On that central line, cut an arc. I have, see, this is that distance, CP. I have cut an arc. Done? Now join
So
this.
your voice is not coming.
Hello.
Voice is not coming.
Voice is not coming. Okay. Then since it is 10:30, the other class you have to start your you have to go to the AutoCAD class. Then I will discuss this tangent and
Sir, you are not audible.
Sir, somebody muted you, I think.
people are playing games, but they don't think that if they play games like this, they will be in danger. Hello, now am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Somebody muted me. Just wait.